The Chevrolet Cobalt is a compact car initially introduced by Chevrolet in 2004 for the 2005 model year. The Cobalt replaced both the Cavalier and the Prizm as Chevrolet's compact car. The Cobalt was available as both a coupe and sedan, and is based upon the GM Delta platform also shared with the Chevrolet HHR and Saturn Ion. Also available was a high-performance, super sport variant. A Pontiac version was sold primarily as the Pontiac G5 in Canada for its entire run, as well as the Pontiac G4 in Mexico for 2005 and Euro 2006, and in both Mexico and the United States under the G5 name for 2007 and Euro 2009. In all cases, the G5 replaced the Cavalier-related Pontiac Sunfire. While the Cobalt was available as a two-door coupe copyright and a four-door sedan in all markets it was offered in, the G5 was only available as a coupe copyright in the United States while a sedan version was sold alongside the coupe copyright in Canada and Mexico. Faulty ignition switches in the Cobalts, which cut power to the car while in motion, were eventually linked to many crashes resulting in fatalities. The switch continued to be used in the manufacture of the vehicles even after the problem was known to GM. On February 21, 2014, GM recalled over 700,000 Cobalts for issues traceable to the defective ignition switches. In May 2014 the NHTSA fined the company $35 million for failing to promptly recall the cars. All Cobalts and its Pontiac equivalents were manufactured at GM's plant in Ramos Arizpe, Mexico and Lordstown, Ohio. The United States Environmental Protection Agency classifies the Cobalt as a subcompact car. Overview. Specifications. The front suspension is independent with McPherson struts, while a semi-independent torsion beam is used in the rear. The wheelbase is 103.3 in, longer than its competitors, and the width is 68.4 inches. Weight is average in class, at 2,681 pounds for the coupe and 2,747 pounds for the sedan. For 2009, the United States Environmental Protection Agency fuel economy was increased to 24 mpg US city/34 mpg US highway with automatic transmission, and 26 mpg US city/37 mpg US highway with manual transmission. The engine output was increased to 155 horsepower. Year-to-year changes. 2006, a non-supercharged Cobalt SS was added to the lineup. This car was equipped with a 2.4L naturally aspirated EcoTec Line 4. The LS became the base model while the LT was marketed as a mid-range package. The top-level trim was now the LTZ. In addition, as with most other GM vehicles that year, GM's Mark of Excellence symbol was added to both front fenders near the doors. 2007, both engines were retuned for more power while retaining the same fuel economy. The 2.2L EcoTec was now rated at 148 horsepower with the 2.4L EcoTec rated at 173 horsepower. Other changes include a new console, new steering wheel and new radio head unit that features an audio input jack. In addition, all models except the LS and LT1 now used a 5x110 wheel bolt pattern. The LS and LT1 retained the standard 4x100. In addition, the 2007 model year marked the introduction of a new 32-bit computer that replaced the 16-bit unit from 2006. 2008, the 2.4L naturally aspirated, high-output SS Coupe and SS Sedan were renamed to just Sport Coupe and Sport Sedan respectively. The new Cobalt SS features a 260 horsepower turbocharged engine, replacing the supercharged engine which was offered from 2005 and Euro 2007. At mid-year, the fuel economy was increased to 25 mpg US 5.5 and Euro 7.5 km per litre city, 36 mpg US 9 and Euro 11 km light highway on the LS and 1LT, coupe and sedan models with manual transmission. Now labeled with XFE badging. XM radio, side impact airbags for improved safety, and MP3 player were now standard instead of optional. StabiliTrak stability control system was introduced. Other changes include the adding and removal of several exterior and interior colors. The new SS Coupe launched near the end of May 2008, as it was a facelift from the 2005 Euro 2007 version. 2009, the 2.4L naturally aspirated Sport Coupe and Sport Sedan models were both deleted, along with the 2.2L L61 engine. Both were replaced by the 2.2L LAP engine, thus providing better fuel economy and more power, as well as an SS sedan being added to the lineup. 3 exterior colors were changed, and the neutral interior color deleted. Bluetooth capabilities were added, as well as the option for a reconfigurable performance display. The Rapid, only available on the SS Coupe, can read out various engine output data and alter performance settings. Safety according to the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety, the Cobalt receives an overall top score of good for front collisions. However, it receives a poor overall score for side impacts without side curtain airbags, and an acceptable overall score with side curtain airbags. In 2008, side curtain airbags became standard, but the Cobalt's structure remains the same, and consequently in structure safety category of the IIHS's side impact test the Cobalt receives a marginal score. Side airbags are limited to the curtain type, torso type side airbags are unavailable. According to the IIHS's injury measurements taken from the side impact test, the driver's torso is given a marginal score. The IIHS also found 2005 August model year Cobalts had the highest fatality rate in the small four-door car class, with 117 deaths per million registered years compared to its class average of 71. 2010 NHTSA sedan crash test: frontal driver, frontal passenger, side driver, side rear passenger, rollover. Before 2009, the Cobalt only offered stability control as an option on sport models. Defects and recalls. In early 2007, 98,000 Cobalt coupes from the 2005 Euro 06 model years were recalled after it was discovered they did not meet federal safety requirements because of a lack of adequate padding in a specific area of the vehicle's trim. This resulted in an unacceptable vulnerability to head injuries, though GM claimed the vulnerability would only affect motorists not wearing a seatbelt. On March 2, 2010, GM announced a recall of 1.3 million compact cars in North America, including the Chevrolet Cobalt, because of power steering problems. GM plans on fixing older models before fixing current models, as the car was replaced by the Chevrolet Cruze in late 2010. The Pontiac G5 and its international variants were also affected, though GM had already ended production of the Pontiac brand by that point. The following recall is due to extreme heat causing damage to the plastic fuel pump lines. The recall is only for states in the southern part of the USA. On September 28, 2012, GM announced a recall of 40,859 cars, including the Chevrolet Cobalt from the 2007 September model year, because of a potential fuel leak. Faulty ignition switches in the Cobalts, which cut power to the car while in motion, were eventually linked to many crashes resulting in fatalities, starting with a teenager in 2005 who drove her new Cobalt into a tree. The switch continued to be used in the manufacture of the vehicles even after the problem was known to GM. On February 21, 2014, GM recalled over 700,000 Cobalts for issues traceable to the defective ignition switches. In May 2014, the NHTSA fined the company $35 million for failing to recall cars with faulty ignition switches for a decade, despite knowing there was a problem with the switches. 13 deaths were linked to the faulty switches during the time the company failed to recall the cars. Engines sales Replacement. In 2009, Chevrolet launched the Cobalt's eventual successor, the Chevrolet Cruze, in Europe, with launches in other markets following in 2010. The Cobalt ended production on June 23, 2010. With the discontinuation of the Pontiac brand by GM in 2010, the Buick Verano is marketed as the G5's successor in Canada, while the Cruze serves as a de facto replacement for the Pontiac G5 in America. Gallery. References. External links. Chevrolet Cobalt at Chevrolet.